This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
I had kind of a bold-ish prediction a year ago when it came to AI agents. I said that by the end of 2025, there would probably be more AI agents than humans. So here we are at the end of 2025. And although there is probably no definitive answer to that question, I think it's safe to say that it's a valid question. Are there more AI agents than humans? Well, I don't know. But also, as we're planning and looking into 2026 and looking back at maybe agentic efforts from 2025, I think it's important to kind of take a look back and see what's been working across the industry, what hasn't, and what should we be looking forward to in 2026 when it comes to the future of AI agents in the enterprise. So I'm excited to tackle that on today's episode of Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. My name's Jordan Wilson. I'm the host, and this is for you. It's your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday business leaders like you and me make sense of all that's happening in the world of AI. My gosh, AI agents are changing literally by the hour, it seems like. So Everyday AI, we help you make sense of all of this and grab the actionable insights out of everything to grow our companies and our careers. So if that's what you're trying to do, awesome. It starts here with the unedited, unscripted live stream podcast. But to take it to the next level, make sure you go to youreverydayai.com. Go sign up for our free daily newsletter. We're going to be recapping the highlights from today's show, as well as keeping you up to date with all of the other AI news that matters. All right, I am excited for today's guest. It's going to be a good conversation, whether you care about AI agents, whether you're using 1, 100, or 1,000. I think today's conversation is one that you're going to need to pay attention to. So live stream audience, please help me welcome to the show Sunil Pai, the tech lead of AI agents at Cloudflare. Sunil, thank you so much for joining the Everyday AI Show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I also like that my name itself has the word AI in it, and I'm kind of realizing it.
That's mine doesn't, right? But some like my friend said I should adopt the nickname of Air Jordan, but have the AI capitalized with a lowercase r. But just never really stuck. But Sunil, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in your role at Cloudflare?
First of all, like I said, thank you so much for having me. I love talking shop about these things all the time. If you follow me on Twitter, you know this. I'm the tech lead of the AI agents effort inside Cloudflare, which is a network infrastructure hosting company that's basically spread across the planet. Roughly like 1 in 2 websites are backed by Cloudflare in some way, which is kind of an insane thing for me to understand. So I've been focusing on like building out AI agents for ourselves and for our customers over the last year. I also helped them build out the developer CLI. Previous to this, I was on like the React.js core team. I've done like a bunch of things. But yeah, the focus is the topic. I want to say topic du jour, but honestly, I think we are going to be exploring this for a few years. AI agents, man.
Yeah. And talk a little bit, I think most people know Cloudflare, right? One of the largest organizations in the world in terms of, having speed, security, reliability, for online, applications and websites. But can you explain a little bit about what you have on the agentic side? Because you do have a platform for building AI agents. Before we dive into all the fun stuff, tell us a little bit about what Cloudflare is doing on the agentic side.
So the story actually starts closer to 7, maybe 8 years ago, where we've built out this network that helps protect your website and your servers from DDoS attacks, hacker attacks, any kind of, attacks of any sort. And then we decided to run JavaScript on all these servers across, now I think it's something like 300 plus cities, 15,000 points of presence. The statistic that I really love is that I think close to 90% of the world's population is about 20 milliseconds away from a Cloudflare POP. So at one point we were like, we're going to run JavaScript on all of these things so that you can build out all your web applications, APIs, things that mobile apps connect to, etc. And we've been building it out for a few years. And when LLMs took off a couple of years ago, because Cloudflare is such a, for lack of a better word, very innovative company, we noticed that some tech that we had built out, namely like durable objects and the network itself, were extremely good ways of running these little agentic applications. And when I say an agentic application, I mean something that you can connect to an LLM, run this agentic loop where you're like, oh, has the goal been reached yet? Can I talk to these tools? Can I, connect to my Gmail and my Salesforce and so on? And keep doing it in the background without a browser connected to it or anything until it reaches that goal. So we took that seed of an idea and we built out a library and supporting infrastructure in the platform to build and deploy these. So you can go in, like if you use the agent software development kit, of which I build like every day now with my team. It's as simple as, yep, I point my little coding agent to our example, which like, oh, here's a Slack bot that I want to take. I want to connect it to my Gmail, etc. And I also want to give it scheduling ability. So I want to be able to say in Slack, hey, little bot, you can give it a name, by the way. I sometimes say Freddy because I like to choose the name of a friend I don't really have. Otherwise, it's just weird. I can actually say something like, hey, every Friday at 9 p.m., I need you to go through my email, all the code commits that I've made on GitHub, all the edits I've made on the wiki, and I want you to compile them and send an email to my manager because he keeps wanting to know what I'm cooking. And I don't really want to waste time on a Friday evening. I have better things to do on a Friday evening. And it turns out that these capabilities, scheduling, the ability to talk to inference, use webhooks, we have like incredible WebSocket support. All of these things are so easy to build out and deploy in a planetary way. And the best thing about our AI agents is that they can run super close to a user, which is to say 20 milliseconds away from you or close to other geographical locations that you want. So it's been a wonderful year building this out. I think we are at over like 150,000 downloads on the NPM registry, the JavaScript package registry, every week. And it's been incredible talking to customers. And like I said, like because Cloudflare has like every customer, I think we do something like 30-40% of like Fortune 500 and thousands, millions everywhere else. It means we're seeing like the spread. I really enjoy that.
Yeah. So I kind of want to skip to the end here and then we'll circle back. But do you think there's more AI agents than humans right now, right? Like there's no definitive number. I've seen estimates anywhere from, 600 million to 3 billion, but who knows? What's your take? Do you think there's more AI agents than humans right now, or will there be soon?
Okay. So I can use simple numbers to explain this. And it boils down to what you think is an agent. Like if you it's almost like the Turing test was solved like a year and a half ago, and we were like, "Yep, cool, awesome."
Move on. Yeah,
yeah. So, ChatGPT right now does roughly 1 billion monthly active users. Okay, so if you can tell yourself that each ChatGPT instance is an agent because it can do things in the background, you can actually ask it to schedule stuff and talk to tools and connect it to your Gmail, etc. Well, you're at 1 billion agents right there. Okay. So we are like 8x away. If you consider every running session to be an agent, now that starts multiply, maybe 2 or 3. ChatGPT themselves, I think they're working on some tech called Pulse. I forget what it's called, where it's going to start being proactive. Based on everything it knows about you, it's going to start doing things in the background, whether you tell it or not. We're like, hey, next week's your wife's birthday. Flowers, chocolate, movie tickets. Oh my God, the advertising potential there. And now that's just ChatGPT. There are so many in-house systems. There are people who are deploying agents for all their customers. So you take somebody like an Atlassian, which has another few million users, etc., etc. You quickly start getting to like 8 billion. And that's like today. Like one of my theses is even if there's like no model improvements, which is not true, by the way, I suspect somebody's going to do a Christmas surprise and say, "Yep, we beat all the benchmarks." Like these things are now happening on a weekly basis. I go to bed, I wake up, and like the world has changed. Okay. So if you even if you freeze that and all you do is you focus on getting this technology into the hands of regular people, just regular business owners, consumers, I don't know, teenagers, etc., you can cross 8 billion like really easy. And that's like today. I'm saying like give it another year and that number is blown out of the water. You kind of
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, I agree.
for any definition of AGI. This is
Yeah, and Sunil, you bring up a great point, right? You said, something about ChatGPT Pulse, something they rolled out to, their pro tier subscribers a couple of months ago. I read it almost every day, right? I get it delivered and I almost forget like, oh, wait, that is an agent, right? It connects to my calendar, it connects to my email, and every morning it delivers a customized, personalized digest, and I can give it feedback, and then it just goes out and does the work. It seems like even just the very definition of what an agent is, what it does, has changed drastically, because I think you just gave a great example there of an agent that many people already have access to. And we're probably not even thinking of it as like, oh, this is an AI agent, because it's just there and it's easy and it's accessible. Could you give me maybe your definition of an AI agent, and also maybe talk a little bit maybe on how that's changed, or maybe it hasn't changed over the past year or so?
I mean, the biggest thing is a year ago, I didn't think we'd move this fast and be here. Like, I need to like revisit my timelines all the time. I just saw the new video model released by Runway today, and it's indistinguishable from reality. It's crazy. It's scary. Anyway, so what is my definition of an agent? So I of course, work I'm a software engineer. So I think of things in terms of software. So I like thinking of it as an entity that can take inputs. So inputs can be as low level as something like HTTP requests, web requests, or we can think of it higher level. I can send emails to it. I can make phone calls to it. I can send text messages to it. I can connect it to chat apps, etc. So there are all these inputs. I expect it to be able to do outputs, which means I expect it to be able to send emails, to say, make phone calls, to come back to the chat. So the inputs and outputs for me are very important. And then I like thinking about the agentic loop. You start giving it goals. These goals can be something that ends very quickly, where you're like, hey, can you find me the top 10 pizza places in the US? From what I hear, they're all in New Haven. That's what I understand. I had some New Haven style pizza. Very nice, very crispy. But some of them can be open-ended, which is until the day I die, you're going to keep looking at my health markers, which I will feed you via inputs with my Apple Watch. And you're going to tell me how to make myself healthier. What do I eat? How do I exercise? How do I sleep? Etc. And that's really it. The combination of these input outputs and this loop where it keeps trying to go towards goals powered by extremely smart models, that's honestly all it takes. Like you can talk about, oh, it needs capability to do code execution, or it needs the ability to do planning. Well, this is just enhancements on the same model itself. And I think I think of course the big thing is that you're now giving this magical entity the intelligence, and I like considering it hardware, but the ability to interact with the real world and get things done. This was, forget about unheard of like 2 years ago. This was only in the realm of science fiction. This was Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, all of that. Like, but it's real. Like you can use it right now.
Yeah, and I even remember going back to, let's just say this time last year, right, when I made this, kind of crazy prediction. At the time, I think it was maybe only a handful of the biggest companies that had, true agent builders. I think it was November of 2024. I actually know, because it was my birthday and I was at the keynote in Chicago where Satya Nadella, announced Copilot Studio, right? But at this time last year, there were very few kind of low code or no code true agent builders, right? And so now we already talked about what you do at Cloudflare. We kind of already referenced, OpenAI, they have their agent builder. Google just released theirs. Salesforce, everyone, it seems like, has a no code, low code agent builder, no matter what platform you use. So what does that mean? Like, how should we be thinking about agents? Should we be trying to deploy them across any software we use? Because it seems like, right, if my website's hosted on Cloudflare and I use Gmail, but I have a Windows computer, it's like, okay, well, should I have agents running in all of those? How should we be thinking about where and when and how to deploy agents since they're everywhere?
Look, the way I think about agents is exactly the way I think about software. Uh, soft The first software company ever was actually like Microsoft, and I still think it's a terrible name for a software company. And it's been a while; they're not going to change it. Software, the number one use case has not been for, let's say, like for sentient girlfriends, even though that's a thing that happens today. The biggest number one use case has been the most boring 3-word phrase uttered, which is business process automation. It has been a tool to amplify people's capabilities and their impact on the planet. It started off with, I don't know, like little shell scripts that researchers would use, but then it entered spreadsheets, data processing systems, e-commerce systems, to the point where like things that were the purview of very hardcore subject matter experts who paid a lot of money in the 70s and 80s to regular people nowadays. You can't really make the joke anymore that, it used to be that like my parents were bad at Google, like using Google, but like that doesn't make sense anymore, because like everybody on the planet, young, old people, interact with software on a daily basis. Smartphones did that for everyone. Okay, so agents take that and they give the ability to take a very enthusiastic, slightly stupid intern level intelligence and help you amplify like your impact on your business, your life as well. But the big thing that I always think about are the machines that drive commerce and capitalism like across the world. That for me is like the number one thing. So yeah, absolutely. I think you should be like running these on your Windows machine and on Cloudflare and on wherever else good software is run.
Yeah, and you talked a little bit just kind of, business process automation, right? Which for the most part, that's where we've been for, I don't know, 10 to 20 years at least, right? Like we've had software that can automate certain, manual knowledge work tasks. Yet, something I'm always grappling with, and luckily I get to talk to a ton of smart people such as yourself, right? But if AI agents are very capable of doing the exact things that many of us are spending the majority of our time doing, how should, number one, okay, well, how can we even plan to deploy them? But number two, what should we be planning in 2026 and beyond for ourselves and, our human counterparts to doing? Because clearly it has to be something more than just overseeing and orchestrating multi-agentic systems.
When databases started becoming a bigger thing in the 90s, I remember that there used to be a real job called, I mean, there still is, but it used to be a very big deal. A database administrator, a DBA. You would have to spend a lot of time learning about these things and running them on these expensive machines and mainframes and so on. And it was the job of, many people took it upon themselves to just keep working at that problem for years and like decades, to the point where it went from the purview of subject matter experts to becoming like, you had to be a programming expert to have a blog in 2001, as late as 2001. You don't think about that anymore. You make a Facebook account, you make a Twitter account, you're good to go. And those systems scale to 1,000 orders of magnitude bigger than the kind of scale you used to have on the internet back then. So it's actually like a harder problem to scale that now, but regular consumers don't see it. I think we are in a similar phase with AI agents. If you're a subject matter expert or you're a developer, like someone like me, our job right now is to basically figure out the process where we commodify making this regular technology for regular people. That's what we are doing right now. We don't want you to have to worry about your servers going down, etc. Which takes me to the next part of your question, which is, well, what happens when you start deploying these in large numbers? And the phrase that I like throwing around is you need to have digital HR. Like if you imagine a world where one human being has 20, let's say 20 agents running at a time, that's like having 20 stupid employees. And that's not the easiest thing to like manage. So how do you look into how well they're doing, whether they're getting their goals? How are they not, for lack of better phrasing, going out in the middle of the night and getting digital drugs? You know what I mean? And showing up high to work the next. Um, so what is the equivalent of this? And you can't tell regular people, well, you have to set up observability systems and have metrics and Prometheus. No. So what is the commodification process of that? And that has always been a hard problem, no matter how good technology is. You want to make sure that it's like rolled out in a safe way, but still in a way that amplifies. You don't want to hold back the capabilities until well, I don't claim to be like an expert in running business systems. So I need to give people the freedom to be able to take this and use them like safely. And once these things happen, what do humans do? Man, I live in the north of England. I'd like to go to the beach where it's warm and chill without worrying about how I'm paying like rent next month. This is all a little bit hand wavy. It's why we have AI safety systems and the smartest people uh, not just in technology, but like in government, wondering what people will do when a lot of this work is being run by. I don't know. I'd like to be on a warm beach myself. I think I would recommend that.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything an AI agent can do to help me spend more time on the warm beach, it's like, yes, let's prioritize that. But you know, Sunil, you brought up an interesting point. You know, kind of talking about the history of development, and even how over time anyone could go and create a website, right? I like to think sometimes just the ease of creating a website. I mean, it seems like it took a really long time, right? Even though, WYSIWAG editors, what you see is what you get. They were around 10, 15 years ago, but it really took a long time for them to be truly accessible to the masses. What do you see on the agentic side? Because in my opinion, it seems so easy, right? All the big players have essentially the version or the equivalent of a WYSIWAG agent builder. Some of them you just speak with your voice and nothing else, right? So how should we be building these agents, and how can we prepare for the future when maybe our agents, is that going to be the only way to get our work done because everything is just going to be agentic by default?
I think a lot of this is speculation on my side. I think we're going to have to like rethink I think as technologists, we're going to have to rethink the entire software stack where they can be run by these agents. Like, for example, just in Cloudflare, for example, there are so many checks and balances in place to make sure um, a human is responsible for certain decisions that are made, configuration changes, code deploys, etc. Like, if we get it wrong, we occasionally take half the internet down, which is a little weird. We don't want to do that. But now, not only do we need to make these systems where we can let these agents run loose, but we need to develop a sense of trust for these software systems, which kind of takes you back also to like 15, 20 years ago. These concerns about the internet taking over, what they are going to do to the economy, how will the easy availability of information where anyone can say anything truthfully or they can lie through their teeth. How do you develop a trust in technology systems? I actually don't think like we have like good answers for that yet. Like my uncle and aunt, they still are highly distrusting of AI systems. And it's probably because no one has sat them down and explained to them how they work, what are the what is it that it can do, what is it can't do. And every day the list of the things it can't do gets shorter, which is also a thing. And which is why I think it still is going to be, let's call it like a slow takeoff. No matter if the technology is good enough, building out just the social systems for people to understand how these things work, what they're good for. I suspect, I don't think there are good answers for it yet, but just like we, as humanity, as a group of people, we figured it out over the last 20, 50, 100, ever since the industrial era. I think we'll figure that out. It's probably education. It'll happen.
Yeah, 100%. And, education is huge because, probably just in the time that we've had this conversation, I'm guessing that there's been a lot of, even in this, 20 some minutes, there's been new developments that, even if you try to stay up every single day, that's what I do, you can't. There's always new capabilities, right? And that's something I'm always having to look back and be like, I can't believe how far we've come in, one year, 1 quarter, 1 month, 1 week, right? So as we look forward, all right. What?
You know what?
Yeah, we want to have this conversation next year. What might we be talking about?
Well, here's my first recommendation. There should be someone named Jordan who makes it his job where every day he has a podcast where he explains this to everyone who's willing to come and listen to it. That goes like a long way towards making this technology paradigm shift more accessible. So if you know someone like that, you should let them know. In 1 year, what can we look forward to? I think, here's the thing. Models will get smarter. They will be able to run for longer periods of time and do longer tasks. It used to be a year ago, you could barely get a minute of work out. Forget about a minute, like 15, 20 seconds of work out of ChatGPT. But now it can, if you pay for the higher tier, it can go off and do things for like 20 minutes, half an hour, just researching, coming up with ideas. Dude, it's coming up with like new drugs to fight cancer and diabetes. Huge. Like, oh my God, that's the thing I want technology to do for us. I suspect all these AI companies with a lot of money in the bank, they are going to work very, very hard to get this technology into people's hands for whatever purpose, because they need to prove their valuation, sure, but because they actually believe this technology is going to make people's lives better. If you know anyone who works at these companies, you know them, like they actually care deeply enough about affecting like social, economic change on the planet. So I suspect the conversation in a year is not going to be what is AI, but what do I not know about AI that I can use to make my life better? Because by this time, I'll already have these agents working from me in my phone, in the house. Turns out Spotify is now going to let you prompt what music you want. I'm really looking forward to that because I like music from before the year 2000, and I don't like music after the year 2024. Like I've lost touch. I'm too old.
Same.
Right? I need guitars, I need drums and bass. Like just play me music only with that. So I think the goal of humanity has always been like radiating outwards from identity. How do I make my life better? How do I make my family's lives better? And how do I impact the outer world to be a good place to like live in? And in a year, we're going to be looking at how do I use technology to do all these things. It has always been the story with technology. And I think we will be continuing that part of the conversation.
All right. So, Sunil, we've covered a lot in today's conversation, just talking about the future of AI agents, everything from challenges and opportunities to observability, safeguards, accessibility, et cetera. What's your one kind of biggest takeaway for business leaders that maybe are still grappling, right, between the huge upside of AI agents and their capabilities with the maybe sometimes unknown or unforeseen pitfalls? What's your biggest takeaway for them?
It doesn't matter if the technology isn't good enough right now, whether the models are not smart enough. We have almost a guarantee that they will get better, which means your job right now is to become familiar with these systems and just to like get experienced in using them so that you know what they're good at, what they're not good at, and how they could benefit you. I guarantee you, most people are either afraid or they don't have the time, or even worse, some of them have been told by other people that this is just bad technology. There are rumors and there are people who don't understand it and are influencing other people. Your job as an entrepreneur, as a technologist, right now is to find familiarity in these systems so that when the opportunity does come, you know what next step you can take. We're like, oh my God, Sunil Pai was talking that I could build a little AI agent that can answer my phone calls for me, and I can have an email agent that I can send all my invoices to, so that in a year, when the models are good, I can say, can you just calculate my taxes for me? Which is something that I hear is, which is just something so stressful, because if you get it wrong, you go to jail, right? Like, so your job right now is just to get familiar, pay $20 a month for ChatGPT or Claude or one of these things. Talk to people in the space, find out like what they're doing. You will get, out of the 10 things you attempt, 9 of them will be useless, but 1 of them will be useful. But you can't know which one of those 10 will be useful unless like you all try all 10. I highly recommend people just get their hands in there right now. Do it for low stakes things. Don't run like your bank account on it. Do it just to automate some boring stuff in your life. You will be in the 1% of people who are ahead of the game when the opportunity presents itself. We see this time and time again with our customers. The same thing.
Fantastic parting words. And thank you so much, Sunil, for taking time out of your day to join the Everyday AI Show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jordan. So grateful to be here.
All right, y'all. And if you miss anything, don't worry. We're going to be recapping all of that in today's newsletter. So if you haven't already, please go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for that free daily newsletter. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you back tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.